All right, let's get right into it. We live in a world that's constantly telling us to speak up, right? To be heard, to make our mark with words. But what if that's all wrong? Today, we're going to explore a really counterintuitive idea, that real power often comes not from what you say, but from what you choose not to say. So this is the big idea we're going to unpack. The more you talk, the more you risk saying something, well, foolish. And the more you just sort of chip away at your own mystique. Powerful people, they impress and even intimidate by saying less. It sounds simple, but let's see how this plays out when the stakes are really high.
So, let's kick things off with a classic tragedy. This is the story of a legendary hero whose reputation was built on the battlefield but was completely demolished by his own mouth.
You got to understand, before politics got involved, the name Coriolanus was pure legend. He was this untouchable hero of ancient Rome, known only for his incredible victories. People didn't know the man, they knew the myth, and that mystery, that was the source of all his power.
And man, you can just watch it all fall apart so fast. His first speech, a total home run. Why? Because he let his actions, his literal battle scars, do the talking for him. But then, he just couldn't stop himself. On election day, he comes off as arrogant, boastful. Then a few weeks later, he's attacking the very idea of democracy. It's like every single time he opened his mouth, he was replacing his own legend with the image of some insecure common loudmouth.
And here's the kicker. This is the true cost of his words. He wasn't just voted out, he was thrown out. The very same people who used to worship him were now throwing a party to celebrate his banishment, like they just won a war. He literally talked his way from being a hero into being the enemy. And this really gets to the heart of it all. The more Coriolanus talked, the weaker he looked. He laid it all out there for everyone to see, his insecurities, his arrogance, his total contempt for the people. By not mastering his words, he proved he couldn't master himself, and it cost him everything. Okay, so this is where it gets really interesting. When you put Coriolanus' failure right next to someone who totally mastered this law, wow. You see this perfect, stark contrast between a man who lost it all with words and a king who built an empire on silence.
All right, so let's jump forward in time. We're going from ancient Rome to the glittering, dangerous court of Versailles. We're going from a guy who couldn't shut up to a king who built an empire by saying almost nothing.
Just try to picture it. You've got the most powerful people in France, and they are constantly talking, scheming, arguing. They're spending all their energy just trying to figure out what to say to please the king. The whole place is just buzzing, this whirlwind of words. And right in the middle of all this chaos, you've got the king just sitting there, silent. He lets them all talk, and in doing so, they reveal their ambitions, their weaknesses, their entire game plan. And his response, after all that, this simple, vague, totally non-committal phrase, "I shall see." He never explained himself. You only found out what he decided when he actually did something, leaving everyone guessing and totally off balance. And think about this. This might be the most powerful phrase ever spoken by a monarch, and it's just a few words. I am the state. That's it. It's an entire political philosophy baked into one short, sharp, unarguable sentence. So why did this work so well? Well, his silence, it was a weapon. It made everybody nervous, and nervous people can't help but fill the silence, often revealing things they shouldn't. You can't really fool someone when you have no clue what they're thinking. His silence created this incredible aura of untouchable, almost godlike power. Okay, so we've seen it in action, right? We've seen the hero who failed and the king who succeeded. But what's the psychology here? Why does being quiet actually work so well?
It's like this crazy psychological trick. See, power is a game of appearances. When you're silent, you become a blank screen. And our brains, well, our brains just can't stand a mystery, so we start filling in the blanks ourselves. People will project their own theories, their fears, their hopes onto you. They do all the work for you, convincing themselves of how brilliant and strategic you are, all because you gave them absolutely nothing to work with.
And hey, this isn't just for ancient kings and warriors. Get this, the artist Andy Warhol figured out the exact same thing. He realized that trying to talk people into liking his work just didn't work. But when he was quiet and kind of vague and enigmatic, his power and his influence just skyrocketed. He actually learned it from another artist, Marcel Duchamp, who was a master of this. Duchamp knew that silence creates a vacuum, and other people will rush to fill that vacuum, often with value.
But that same vacuum can be incredibly dangerous when the wrong words break the silence. And that brings me to one last story, and this one is absolutely brutal.
Picture this. It's 1825. A Russian rebel named Kondraty Ryleyev is standing on the gallows about to be hanged. The trapdoor opens, he falls, and the rope snaps. I mean, can you imagine? In those days, this was seen as a literal act of God, divine intervention. He's saved.
But Ryleyev, he just couldn't help himself. In the one moment he should have been quiet and just thankful to be alive, he opens his mouth and shouts a sarcastic joke to the crowd, making fun of the state. A messenger runs this news straight to Tsar Nicholas I, who is literally in the process of signing Ryleyev's pardon. But when he hears the sarcastic remark, he stops. And the Tsar's reply? It's just bone-chilling. And just like that, the Tsar rips up the pardon. A handful of unnecessary, sarcastic words cost Ryleyev his life. It is a terrifying lesson. Once words are out there, you can never, ever take them back. And the next day, this time, the rope did not break.
Okay, but let's be real, no rule works 100% of the time, right? Saying less is a powerful tool, but it's not a magic wand. There are definitely critical moments when staying silent is actually the worst thing you can do.
Sometimes being too quiet can totally backfire. It might make your boss think you're clueless, or even worse, that you're hiding something. And here's a really smart reversal. You can actually use a flood of words as a kind of smokescreen. By chattering on about stuff that doesn't seem to matter, you can make yourself look harmless and ordinary, all while you're secretly working on your real goals. The point isn't to just be silent, it's to know when to speak, and more importantly, why.
So I'll leave you with this question to think about. We're all pushed to add our voice to the noise, to share every single thought. But maybe, just maybe, true strength, true strategy, and real power might just be found in the things we choose to leave unsaid.